Mom sent 3-year-old me into an S-class horror game dungeon. The comments were frantically reminding, "Little one, hurry and find the #1 player on the combat leaderboard. That's your dad. If you don't go soon, you're going to have a new mom. It's too late. God, Chandler is proposing to Lily live on stream." I rushed to the scene in tears, hugged the strongest man, and called him Daddy. The 1 meter tall man was stunned. "Ah, run, baby, that's the dungeon boss. It is indeed the strongest one here, but it's not human, bro. Did Chandler even say he's not raising it anymore, and you're just going to steal the child? Dad, I'm your baby." I cried and hugged the black leg. "Are you abandoning me and Mom, according to what the aunties in the bullet comments taught me?" I cried like it was only raining without any thunder. Quietly, the aunties said this kind of crying from a child is the most pitiful. The strongest, Dad, who is especially tall, was indeed moved by me. Yes, a voice, raw and hoarse, rang out. A tremendous force grabbed my collar and flung me. My bangs flew up. I raised my hand to press them down, but they wouldn't stay, only to realize it was me who was flying. So amazing. I wiped away my tears and smiled. The barrage is going crazy. I want to report that there's a law protecting minors. They shouldn't be sent into horror games to die, thrown so high. If they fall, it'll be a mess left and right. It's also possible to be thrown directly into the boss's mouth. Is anyone going to do something? The boss is about to eat a child. I landed on my father's broad shoulders, watching the lines of bullet comments. I tilted my head in confusion. I'm only 3 years old and can only recognize very simple words. For example, #1 means the strongest and the most impressive. Before, my aunties told me with simple words and emojis that my dad was the most impressive person at the proposal scene. The one wearing black. I looked down and saw that he was indeed very dark and very strong. From my perspective now, everyone else is just like tiny ants. Although there is a man in black standing in front of the woman in the white dress to protect her, it probably doesn't matter. I happily hugged my dad and gave him a bunch of kisses. Great. I helped Mom find Dad. Mom was right. Dad loves her and the baby the most. And he won't abandon me. As for the barrage of crying emojis, I whispered, "Auntie, you can cry in my father's broad chest. It's really spacious, like a big house where we can all live together. Don't be sad. I found my dad. It's a happy occasion. Thanks, kid, you're very generous. But 0 people are willing to lean on your dad's chest because it's not your dad at all. Indeed, how could it not be broad? This ghost boss is at least 8 meters tall, a super cuboid. So hopeless. Our kid is a little illiterate. She probably didn't even understand what we were saying. Anyone with a kindergarten diploma wouldn't have ended up like this." Dad casually swatted the little ants. The little ants emitted all sorts of light, but still fell to the ground one after another, twitching. "Wow, my dad is so amazing." I kissed my dad again. Dad got shy and tucked a strand of hair into my hand. "Hold on tight." I obediently grabbed it, and with a whooshing sound, we instantly left the venue and arrived at a dimly lit secret room. It was very small, with only a bed and many pieces of equipment I didn't recognize. Dad hesitated for a moment and placed me on the only small bed. He transformed into a puddle of black shadow, spreading across the entire room. I was surrounded by Dad. Damn, is this the boss's lair? It should be. The scene information says, abandoned laboratory, danger level unknown. The beings that created it have all been devoured by it. It has mastered light and shadow through birth and death. It will become him. Oh my God. A future evil god. Is this the boss strength an S-rank dungeon should have? The boss isn't even humanoid anymore, and our baby still doesn't think there's been a mistake. At this moment, I also felt that something was off about Dad. I looked at my own small hands and feet, then at my dad who had turned into chocolate. How did Dad melt? I timidly asked. "Dad, what's your name? Are you my dad?" Chocolate Daddy wandered around me, sniffing me from time to time. It also asked, "Who are you?" Tiny, soft, and weak, I was a little unhappy, but I replied politely, "My name is Lucy. How should I introduce myself?" Got it. I used to hear my mom being told by a strange voice. After evaluation, the boss of the Pear Blossom Garden instance has been slacking off. The following penalty is now imposed. I asked my mom what boss means. Mom said boss means the big boss. If Mom is the big boss, then I'm the little boss. Little boss. Dad leaned in close to me. So weak and you dare to be the boss. It bit me in confusion. I burst into loud sobs. It hurts so much. It really eats children. No, run, little one, just run. It's better to die and get it over with. Dad was startled by my crying. It couldn't believe it. Crying already. It scrambled to paw at me, spinning me around as if trying to figure out what I was. I ignored it and just cried. I think I might have indeed found the wrong person. Mom said that Dad wouldn't hurt me. Mom is always right. So from the very beginning, I didn't believe that Dad was going to propose to another woman. I believed that once Dad and I were reunited, he would definitely come home with me to find Mom. The shadow was so anxious it darted around frantically. Suddenly, it transformed into a winged kitten and rubbed against my leg. Woof, woof. I sniffled. Only puppies go woof, woof. Then how do kittens sound? The kitten meows. Oh, meow woof. The bird cat chirped in a jumbled way. I was amused. The shadow let out a sigh of relief. It said slowly, "All right, you're the little boss, and I'm the big boss. It seems you really were born from me." I corrected, "I was born from Mom." "All right, you were born from me and your mom." I felt something was off, but couldn't quite put my finger on it. But Mom said, "My dad's name is Chandler." When Mom sent me in, she hung a small tag around my neck with a line of writing on it. "Chandler, your kid. If you don't raise him well, I'll kill you." Mom said this is my dog tag, and the old dog Dad will understand when he sees it. I took out the sign and pointed to the word, Chandler, for the shadow. "This is my dad." The shadow suddenly understood. "So my name is Chandler, huh?" I froze. The shadow flatteringly hugged me and tossed me up high. "Baby, the moment I saw you, I knew you were my own, just as I thought." "Actually, that's not the case. Are you the one who gave birth to call them baby?" "No. Are you Chandler to be their dad?" Who changed my channel from horror to family. I've already spammed Chandler's live stream, told him the child taken by the boss is his, and that his team needs to come rescue them. I just came back from Chandler's live stream too. He doesn't seem to have much affection for the child and doesn't want to come. It was Lily who persuaded him that it's still a life and should be saved. Same here. Lily is truly beautiful and kind-hearted, willing to raise her husband's ex-wife's child. Didn't God Chandler say he was widowed before? Where did this kid come from? If he didn't look so much like him, I'd suspect it was a setup. Yeah, I've never seen the kid's mom. The comments are spamming. I can't understand them, but no one is sending crying emojis anymore. Should be fine now. I patted my little belly and said to the man who admitted to being Chandler's father, "Dad, I'm hungry." Dad asked, "What do you usually eat?" I thought for a moment. In spring, I eat flowers. In autumn and winter, I eat grass and soil. Summer is the best. I can eat pears in summer. It raised its tone. "You humans." "No, is that how your mother raises a child?" It lovingly bounced me. "No wonder you're so tiny." The barrage of comments was also shocked. Damn, Chandler's ex-wife abused the kid. Could it be that after getting pregnant and running away, God Chandler refused to acknowledge it, and the ex-wife, humiliated and enraged, took revenge on the child? I feel like the truth has been revealed earlier. It's possible the child was thrown into the instance by the ex-wife using some kind of prop. Otherwise, how could such a young child have entered the instance? The Humans Are Worse Than Ghosts series. Even the boss feels sorry for the child. I pouted and hit my dad. "Not at all. Mom raised me very well. When Mom is awake, she gives me good food, but she doesn't wake up often, so I have to find food on my own. Only when she wakes up does she give the child a little food, leaving the child hungry all year round." After learning this information, Dad's face turned cold. "Forget about your mom for now. Come on, Dad will take you to find something to eat." I'm angry too. We can't just leave Mom. I'm already a big 3-year-old, not a little 2-year-old. I can find food myself and take care of Mom. Dad finally stopped arguing with me. He picked me up and hurried to a place with many houses. The night was deep. Dad knocked on the door of the highest floor. Knock, knock, knock. Open the door. "This room is one of the dormitories at QS No. 1 High School." QS No. 1 High School is the core location of this S-Class instance. Chandler and his team have been here for 3 days. In these 3 days, he single-handedly resolved all the anomalies, achieving 0 casualties for the team. That's why I chose a safe place to propose to Lily today. But no one expected that before Chandler could even open the ring box, everyone was frozen in place by an unprecedented and eerie force. At that moment, Kevin, the insider, didn't need his special ability to see death waving at them. He felt both a little scared and a little exhilarated. He was dissatisfied with this proposal that was cheered by all the viewers in the live stream, very dissatisfied, for years have passed, and the Obsidian Squad has seen old members continuously lost and new blood added. Fewer and fewer people remember Sister Luna, and now only a handful remain. Just before entering the QS instance, Chandler had even told them, "The only legacy left by Sister Luna is these few people she saved at the cost of her own life, and he will do everything in his power to protect them." In the blink of an eye, Chandler was completely smitten by Lily and decided to propose to her during a live stream in the dungeon. Kevin felt disgusted. He was so shocked that he had completely failed to anticipate this boss. But it wouldn't be so bad if we all died together. Chandler, who betrayed Sister Luna, might as well be dead. But he never expected that a child, one wearing a necklace inscribed with Sister Luna's handwriting, would barge in. She was so beautiful, fair and lovely, like a miniature version of Sister Luna. The child hugged the boss, shouted, "Daddy," and was then taken away by the boss. Kevin was stunned. Later, the live chat informed everyone that the child was Chandler's and urged Chandler to save the child. Lily, with reddened eyes, magnanimously persuaded Chandler, her expression full of grievance. Chandler was heartbroken. "Everyone is hurt today. Let's rest for the night first. We can talk about my personal matters another time." Kevin punched Chandler. "This is the child left by Sister Luna. How can it be considered his personal matter?" Chandler immediately fought back. After a scuffle, Kevin and 3 other veteran teammates who helped him were forcibly assigned to this dormitory. According to the rules of this game, only an odd number of people can stay in a dormitory. And no one is allowed to leave the dormitory after dark. Chandler and Lily want their lives, so tonight, none of the 4 people in the dormitory slept, and they prepared various life-saving tools, ready for anything. It's dark. The dormitory door was knocked. The boss I had seen during the day shouted, "Open the door. Do you have any food? Food that a 3-year-old human child can eat. If not, I'll kill you. Open the door." I sat on my dad's shoulders and shouted along. Going out with Dad to find food feels like hunting. So much fun. Dad turned his head to look at me, dissatisfied. "Be more fierce. Don't act cute." Oh, I got up, hands on my hips. "Open the door. If you don't open the door, then, Dad." What was it again? Dad said it too fast. I forgot. A flood of heart emojis filled the screen. Little one, you're so adorable. Such a tiny cutie. So small they can't even reach the doorknob when they jump, yet they're already learning how to act fierce. At such a young age, they're already following the boss and causing trouble. God, Chandler, please take the child back before they're led astray. Dad helplessly patted my head. I won't leave the door locked. It reached out, grasped, and half the wall with the window and door was torn off. Look, it's open. Dad is amazing. My eyes are sparkling. Dad gave a faint smile and subtly turned his cheek toward me. Oh, it means he wants a kiss from the baby. I leaned in to give him a peck. And suddenly my vision blurred. I was airborne again. Adults really love playing fly high. This time, I was caught by a man and held tightly in his arms. "Uncle, you can't hold me without my parents' permission." I pushed him a little. Dad is very tall and had been standing outside this building without coming in. Now he has melted, and a dark shadow is rushing toward us along the floors. Dad roared, "Give me back my child." Seeing this, my uncle picked me up and ran outside. 2 women and 1 man appeared beside us. "Kevin, take the child and go first," one of the sisters said. "We'll cover the rear." "Okay." I lay in my uncle's arms, and water fell on my head. I looked up. It wasn't raining from the sky. It was raining from my uncle's eyes. He was very scared and sad, holding my hand and trembling. He knew they were no match for Dad. "Give me back to my dad," I said. "My dad is very strong. You can't beat him." The comments were also discussing it. Is Kevin crazy? Why is he so impulsive, snatching the child right in front of the boss? With such a commotion, Chandler and the others must have heard it. Why didn't they come out to help? The 4 of them staying together tonight means they've been abandoned, right? If I remember correctly. These 4 have been longtime followers of Chandler. Isn't it said that Chandler values loyalty the most and always tries his best to save his teammates during missions? Why is it like this? Can you stop being so self-righteous? Everyone can see how overpowered this boss is. What's the difference between saving someone and just throwing your life away? Agreed, this is a horror game. What could be more important than your own life? But still, I just came back from Chandler's stream. Both his and Lily's streams went dark, and the title says, In the Bridal Chamber. Wait, what? I won't hand you over to the boss. We're not like that heartless biological father of yours. Sensing that I wanted to break free, Uncle Kevin held me even tighter. You're Luna's child, aren't you, Luna? Upon hearing the keyword, I froze. My mother is called Luna. Last spring, just before the pear blossoms had all fallen, my mother finally woke up again. Mother said, I am Lucy, and she is Luna. The moonlight envelopes the pear blossoms, just like my mother holding me. So, baby, don't be afraid. Every night when the moonlight shines, Mom is by your side. I looked up from Uncle Kevin's embrace. Tonight is also a full moon night. I reached out and grabbed a handful of moonlight, as if I were grabbing my mother's hair. I said, yes, I am my mother's baby. Uncle, I miss my mom. I felt like crying. Good babies shouldn't cry for no reason. Uncle Kevin wiped the corner of my eye. Uncle. And many other uncles and aunts. Miss your mom a lot too. His voice was low but very solemn. So don't be afraid, baby, even if it means death. We will protect you and get you out of this instance, just like your mom once did for us. Damn, the ex-wife is Luna. No wonder Kevin and the others were so desperate to protect this child. She was famously known as the server's beloved figure, beautiful, strong, and always willing to help others whenever possible. She's assisted quite a few people. Back then, Luna sacrificed herself in that instance to save Chandler and her teammates. Right, if you do the math, she must have been pregnant at the time. For a child born under such miraculous circumstances, isn't it too cruel to abandon them to the dangers while only caring about newcomers? I agree. If it weren't for a boss who happens to like children, this kid would have been gone already. Uncle seems to really know Mom well. Not a bad uncle who snatches children. I was a bit conflicted, so I reached out and poked him. Uncle, don't run anymore, or you'll really die. The moonlight came out, the shadows of buildings, trees, flowers, and people, all tangible entities, are cast. Father is the shadow. It is catching up, now, it is everywhere. Kevin understood my hint, but he had nowhere to run. His shadow grabbed his ankle tightly. Dad crawled out of the shadow. Give my baby back to me, damn you, human trafficker. You deserve to die. Upon hearing this, Kevin was so angry that he forgot his fear. This is Sister Luna's child. How could a monster like you give birth to such a cute child? You have no shame. Dad shouted, this is my own biological child. Ugh, you despicable humans. They started arguing. I was a bit dumbfounded. The barrage comments were stunned too. No, what is the boss doing? Why hasn't it made a move yet? The child is in Kevin's hands. The boss is hesitant to act for fear of harming the child. It's very tense. Damn it. It's unbelievable that a supernatural being actually cares for a human child as if it were its own. The argument between Dad and Kevin is gradually escalating. Kevin grew more and more agitated as he spoke. Your child, will you raise her? Father extended many long, black tentacles, attempting several times to snatch me back. But each time he gave up in frustration, afraid of hurting me. It angrily retorted. Of course I will raise my own child. Kevin questioned. How will you raise her? She is human and will soon be of kindergarten age. She needs to make new friends and receive an education. You, a strange being who doesn't even have human food. What do you have to raise her with? Dad froze. It glanced at me nervously and awkwardly lowered its head. It no longer tried to snatch but instead reached into the shadows and pulled out 2 women and 1 man, all tied up. Exchange. Uncle Kevin's body trembled. His eyes turned red. The 3 of them, however, shook their heads at him, like the tragic, righteous characters on Mom's stage. Kind yet stubborn, I sighed. Hey, does anyone remember the baby is hungry? I sighed and patted my stomach. The baby hasn't eaten yet. Uncle Kevin, I'm hungry. I pushed his arms away and tried to jump to the ground. The ground was pitch black, and Dad surrounded us. Kevin didn't dare to let go. A short-haired woman on the ground chimed in. I have chocolate and bread in my pocket. The shadow instantly lunged toward her coat pocket and instinctively searched the other 2 as well. Dad didn't say a word, handing all the food to me and shaking it ingratiatingly. The short-haired sister stopped her. Hey, has the child eaten chocolate before? Be careful about allergies the first time. Dad fell silent. It didn't know. The shadow's extended tentacles curled up sadly. You can eat it. Mom gave me some before. It was also taken from the pockets of a group of uncles and aunties. I picked up the chocolate, took a small bite, and handed the rest back to Dad. Dad, you have it. For me, Dad was pleasantly surprised. Oh, right, little ones eat small ones, big ones eat big ones. Very fair, I said to Uncle Kevin. Thank you for wanting to protect me, but it's very late. I need to go home with Dad and sleep. I tried to push him. This time, Uncle Kevin let go. His expression was complicated, following his gaze. I saw my dad grinning foolishly while holding the chocolate. I jumped off the ground, and Dad immediately held me. Dad, let's go home, okay? Dad wouldn't let me sit on his shoulders anymore. He held me in his arms, protecting me closely, as if holding a treasure. The chocolate in my mouth was finished, and I licked my lips. So sweet, I love it. Dad handed the remaining chocolate to my mouth. I swallowed hard but didn't open my mouth. Dad, you eat it, it's something very rare. You shouldn't eat it alone, Daddy doesn't like it. Baby, you eat it. Mom says the same thing. It's not the truth. I won't listen. Dad asked me, why didn't you say anything when Dad was arguing with the uncle who took you away? Because they know your mom, so you didn't want to go with Dad. Right, the big dad has a small heart. I guiltily averted my eyes. Dad pinched my cheek and threatened me. You can't abandon me. I'm not abandoning you. I cried out as he pinched me. Then eat properly. Dad placed all the food in the crook of his arm for me to eat on my own, and the remaining chocolate was in there too. Dad will take good care of you too, it said awkwardly. Whatever other kids have, you will have too, sisters. I'm about to switch sides. I can't handle such a good male mommy boss. Goodbye, little one, to your uncle who's busy with a woman, and hello to your new boss Dad, who understands how my impression of Chandler has just shattered. I didn't know about the changing opinions in the live chat. Sleeping soundly in my dad's arms, the arms gently sway, the moonlight ripples like water, the small boat rests in the gentle harbor. Dad means what he says. The next day, it held me and knocked on the classroom door of QS No. 1 middle school. Sweetie, we're going to school. What human kids have, the boss's kids should have too. A wave of question marks floods the bullet comments. Bro, this is high school. The kid doesn't even have a kindergarten diploma yet. Are you pushing them this hard? LOL. The weirdo on stage was just using advanced math to challenge Chandler. Dad made himself smaller and personally led me into the classroom. The classroom was filled with players who had entered this instance. Dad very casually spun me around in front of Kevin and the others, specifically showcasing my clean and pretty school uniform skirt. He had made it for me overnight. Dad flashed a provocative smile. My child has reached school age and needs to go to school to make new friends. I'm sure everyone here would be more than willing to be friends with my child. Right, the teacher on the stage, who had 2 faces, nodded. Welcome to the new students. Everyone should unite and be friendly to each other. The players in the audience changed their expressions, because everyone saw the dungeon countdown change from 3 days to a jumble of garbled characters. Damn, isn't the QS high school dungeon supposed to last only 7 days? Can this boss influence the dungeon rules? Is that right? LOL. Kevin's face turned green. He yelled so loudly at the boss last night, but now he's unhappy that the boss actually sent his kid to study here. Am I the only one watching Chandler and Lily? The boss is approaching them with his child, an epic meeting between the stepdad and the new dad. Wait, does the boss not recognize Chandler? He just casually brought the child over and said a few words. Won't the kid figure out who the real dad is? The bullet chat wasn't wrong. Dad pulled me just as we reached the first row of the classroom, and the couple sitting in the middle stood up. The woman raised a gentle smile. What a coincidence. Baby, we meet again. I am Aunt Lily. She pulled the silent man beside her. He is your father. His name is Chandler. His name is also Chandler. I looked at the man with confusion, pale skin, dark eyes, and a mole on the tip of his nose, just like mine. He showed no expression, glanced at me, then turned to focus on the woman beside him. Clearly not very interested in me. Dad, he has the same name as you, sweetie. Let's transfer to another school. My dad and I spoke at the same time. Dad looked nervous and a little guilty. LOL. So the boss actually knew he stole someone else's child. Boss, the flower language of human cubs is, first come, first served. Natural childbirth isn't as quick and easy as it seems. Anyway, the state encourages having children, so how it's done is none of your business. No more shortcuts. Boss has stepped in. He's going to take down Chandler. I heard a sharp sound cutting through the air. The man, also named Chandler, holding Lily, teleported to the back of the classroom. protecting the person in his arms while confronting us. Desks and chairs were shattered all over the floor, no fighting in the classroom. The teacher on the podium, with 2 faces and 4 eyes, stared intently at Dad. I quickly grabbed Dad's arm. I'm sorry, teacher, we'll pay for the damages. I understood. Just like Mom, Dad couldn't break the rules casually either. You'll be fined, teacher. Class has started. Parents aren't allowed to stay in the classroom, right? Lily looked at her father. You are this child's parent, right? Dad froze. This Lily is something else. She immediately found the boss's weakness. Now it either has to break the rules or admit it's not the parent. Wasn't it said that Lily is a charm-based player who specializes in clearing levels by seducing men? What a stereotype. Lily is a top 100 player. Does anyone really think she's a weak little white flower? Yes, Chandler thinks so. He didn't pay any attention to the child. Nor did he show any intention of acknowledging paternity. His heart and eyes are all on protecting Lily. Oh, there's just no way to be unloved. Dad, wait for me outside. I smiled at my dad. Love you. The terrifying aura around my dad vanished, and he looked at me uneasily. Sweetie, shall we go home together after school? Okay, pinky promise. Dad stared coldly at the player, backing out of the classroom step by step. As soon as he stepped outside, he dissolved into a cloud of black mist, enveloping the entire classroom. With his eyes open wide in front of every pane of glass. The parent was no longer in the classroom. The player became even more scared. The classroom was pitch black. Kevin and a few other uncles and aunts took advantage of the chaos to change seats and sat around me. When the lights came on, there were already many people between me and Lily Chandler, like 2 distinctly separate circles. Several uncles and aunts secretly passed me little notes. Although Chandler became your stepdad, you still have many godfathers and godmothers. Hello, baby, I'm your auntie, a friend of your mom. Baby, we will protect you. I looked at these notes in my hand and scratched my cheek. The baby can't read yet. For the first time, I want to study seriously and learn these words, because it feels like there's so much love in my hands. Want to understand. Want to respond. Ugh, I don't understand. I don't understand a word the teacher said. Am I just stupid? I sniffled and decided to just draw some flowers, which I could give to Dad, uncles, and aunts. Ha ha ha, the kid is about to cry. They don't even know the words yet and are already learning inequalities. The little one looks confused with clear eyes. Why isn't this knowledge sinking in? Finally made it to the end of class. No students left the classroom to take a break. Dad couldn't get in and was banging loudly on the glass. Lily pulled Chandler over to my side. Uncle Kevin and the others didn't step aside, forming a protective circle around me. The gentle smile on Lily's face stiffened. She had no choice but to ask through them, Baby, what's your name? She glanced at Chandler. Chandler also spoke up, Name. As soon as I got close and made contact, I realized this uncle was really strange. Unlike the eerie lack of vitality, and unlike these players full of energy, my name is Lucy. He didn't respond to me immediately, not even blinking, instinctively tilting his head, waiting for Lily to speak. Lily smiled triumphantly. Hello, Lucy. Behind me is your father Chandler. Call him Dad. As for me, it's fine if you don't want to call me that. But you can't call a weirdo your dad. She looked out the window and said, word by word, your mother died at the hands of a dungeon boss. Maybe it's the one you just called Dad. The sound of Dad tapping on the window grew louder. Kevin's expression also darkened. What does Lily mean by this? Tricking a child. Luna died in the pear garden instance. What does that have to do with this boss? Unbelievable. This boss seems to be appearing for the first time. I've watched live streams of this instance before and never seen it. Don't think of people too badly. Maybe Lily saw that the child and the boss had a good relationship and wanted to create a rift, so the child would return to Chandler. After all, the child is human. What's the point of staying with something strange? But isn't that going too far? Aren't you afraid of hurting the child's feelings? I pouted unhappily, not wanting to talk to this strange uncle and aunt anymore. My name isn't Lucy. I was born to my mother, so I take her surname, and also, the person beside you is not my father. He isn't even alive. One sentence stirred up 1,000 waves. The uncles and aunts near me immediately looked at Chandler with suspicion and uncertainty. Lily's expression was grim, her look at me almost sinister. What nonsense is the child spouting? I was indignant. I wasn't talking nonsense at all. I am the child my mother gave birth to in a coffin. Mom said I'm neither entirely eerie nor entirely human. Since childhood, I have stood between life and death, able to distinguish the eerie from the living. My father is strange, like the eerie and also like the living. This uncle is even stranger, neither like the eerie nor the living. Ding ding ding. The school bell rang, interrupting the words I hadn't yet spoken. Lily raised her hand promptly. Teacher, isn't there a pop quiz today? Can we start the exam now? She stared at me. For the sake of fairness in education, every student should participate in the exam, right? The barrage of comments erupted. Why bring this up all of a sudden? The child is so young. How could they possibly pass a pop quiz? It feels like Lily is silencing someone. The kid didn't finish what they were saying just now. Does anyone else think Chandler is acting strange? It seems like he hasn't spoken at the same time as Lily. Not really. Chandler has never been much of a talker. But Chandler was very attentive to his teammates in the first 3 days of the mission, taking on the dangerous tasks himself. After proposing to Lily, he stopped caring about his teammates' lives. So strange, I didn't dare say it, but the proposal felt very sudden too. I hadn't heard much about any romantic tension between them before. Makes you think. The teacher on the stage looked at Lily and nodded. Okay, now we'll begin the pop quiz. The window pane was tapped. And Dad's voice came through. The first principle of teaching is to educate according to the student's aptitude. Teachers should conduct instruction and assessment based on the student's actual situations and individual differences, right, teacher? Hearing the threat in the words, the teacher on the podium trembled and didn't dare to say that parents shouldn't interfere with teaching. It began to call names. Student Lucy. What is 1 plus 1? I said loudly. Equals 2. The teacher nodded. Student Chandler. Why does 1 plus 1 equal 2? Chandler's face stiffened. Ha 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 ha. It's a bit mean but so funny. Chandler, you're so grown up now. You must have figured out the Goldbach conjecture by now, right? I can't take it anymore. This is really teaching according to one's aptitude. Seeing Chandler at a loss for words, the teacher let out a triumphant, eerie cackle. Deskmate, you answer it. Chandler's deskmate is Lily. Lily suppressed her anger and said, Teacher. This question is beyond the syllabus. A question that goes beyond the syllabus is allowed. The teacher's head spun 360 degrees in excitement. Students who can't answer will be punished. You too, stay after school. Dad knocked on the window. Teacher, why isn't there a reward for the good students who answered correctly? My child got it right. The room fell silent. Kevin started clapping first. The others looked at each other and chose to follow. Suddenly, the applause thundered. The teacher's pale face turned even paler. Good child, you're amazing. I didn't know what was happening, so I just smiled and let it go. I'm speechless. Anyone who didn't know better would think the child had won the top scholar title. Boss, our little princess can do 1 plus 1 now. Boss, this is what you call encouraging education. You humans should take notes. The class test ended just in time for dismissal. Lily, Chandler, and a few other players who didn't pass the assessment stayed behind. While the others returned to the dormitory, kids have short memories. After the intense and nerve-wracking pop quiz, I've already forgotten about the strange uncles and aunts. I just want to go home after school. I run to my dad. Dad lifts me up high. My baby was so good on the first day of school. Didn't cry, didn't fuss, and even got praised. Did you miss Daddy? Me, Daddy is right outside the window. Dad rubbed my face against his, complaining. Good kids should miss Daddy when they're at school. Me, is that also a school rule? Yes, indeed, Dad said with certainty. Okay, I followed Dad out of the teaching building and suddenly noticed that Uncle Kevin and the others hadn't left. They were using various methods to hide near the classroom. Are they playing hide and seek? Dad glanced at me. Does the baby want to play too? I nodded. Dad picked me up, crouched next to Kevin, and gave him a kick. Move aside. My kid wants to play too. Kevin took a deep breath and moved aside. Kevin and the others seemed to be observing Lily and Chandler. They're getting suspicious. It is indeed quite strange. Isn't Chandler ranked first on the leaderboard? Why isn't he using any items? Just pure hand-to-hand combat. I crouched down next to my dad. Uncle Kevin had a small lens in front of his eyes. He focused intently, his expression growing more and more serious. What are you looking at? I curiously nudged closer to him. Kevin didn't look away. Wait a moment, baby, Uncle is doing something important. Tell your dad not to disturb me. Okay. Dad nonchalantly withdrew his hand that was already on the lens. Kevin let out a scoff. Dad picked me up. They're not playing hide and seek. They're just watching the excitement. Come on, Dad will let you watch the high-definition version. It returned to its massive form and casually said, I'll help you carry out the punishment too. A round of demolition. The players, and the eerie beings, who were in the midst of an intense indoor battle, suddenly found themselves standing in an open space with no cover. We'll pay for the damages, Dad said lazily, pulling them a bit closer. Baby, look, TSK, fight. The tone was as if urging someone to watch a cockfight. Kevin took advantage of the chaos and threw a water mirror toward Lily and the others. The mirror flashed. Everyone present saw that Chandler and 2 or 3 other players were entangled with transparent threads. The other end of the threads was wrapped around Lily's fingertips. Her fingers flew. These people were tightly guarding her, risking their lives to protect her with their bodies. The barrage erupted in an uproar. What is this thing? It looks so sinister and so strong. Chandler has already been taken down. Who said it's a charm-based style? Is this really a charm-based style? Curious. Is Lily's talent psychic or control-based? Did she turn someone into a puppet? The people around her are all top 50 on the leaderboard, right? Impressive. Oops, I've been discovered. Lily glanced at Kevin. She sighed. Spotlight is such an annoying skill. I should have just killed you in the previous runs, Kevin said coldly. I'm afraid it's not that you don't want to. He seemed to have figured something out. Lily giggled. Yes, it's not that I didn't want to take action, but your Captain Sheen protected you all too well. Fortunately, he went crazy on his own and got himself trapped in that eerie lab, allowing me to reap the rewards. Kevin questioned. He never acts without consulting me. How did you trick him into going to that lab? I just told him that the lab is a hidden level, where an evil god who defies life and death is being born. Perhaps it can even summon the dead. Lily laughed even louder. Kevin, you righteous people with your obsessions are the easiest to deal with. With just one mention of a hidden danger, he went off alone to investigate, not wanting to drag you all down for his own selfish reasons. I arranged a marriage proposal, and all you old-timers who remember Luna turned against him. Ah, what a shame. If it weren't for this kid butting in, I wouldn't have been exposed. The people surrounding Lily are clearly not to be underestimated. Although they are like puppets and cannot use the original owner's tools, they can still protect her with their own strength. Lily glanced warily at me and my father, then manipulated one of the players to lunge at the teacher. An explosion sounded. Dad instantly held me in his arms. Too late. We were too close. Some flesh and blood splattered onto my little dress. Dad reached out to wipe it, but it wouldn't come clean. Has anyone ever told you that good students should be hygienic and not litter? It said gloomily, feeling like boss is about to go all out. Boss, forget about whether your captain is dead or alive. First take a look at my daughter's dress. Boss is secretly thrilled upon hearing the news of the kid's father's death. Kid, that year in the faction war, my clothes were slightly stained. I opened the door and let my dad out, and no one could match him. To be honest, I kind of admire Lily. She isn't scared at all. Once this is exposed, not only Boss and Kevin, but other players won't tolerate her either, right? Who would dare team up with someone so sinister? Lily looks at us, fearless. She sat in Chandler's lap and blew on her nails. Someone in the live stream asked me why I'm not afraid. Of course, it's because I haven't played all my cards yet. I made use of Chandler's corpse, but I wasn't the one who killed him in the lab, child. The one who killed your father, Chandler, is the evil godfather who is holding you. Hasn't he ever taken you to that laboratory? Such a talkative aunt. I shook my head, feeling dizzy. I want to go home and eat. Lily's eyes gradually filled with confusion. Auntie, were you waiting for this? I reached into my pocket and pulled out a small spider. It spat out a silk thread, just like the one from Lily's fingertip. Squelch. Dad crushed it to death. Ah, I haven't played with it yet, you little brat. Why do you stuff everything into your pocket? Dad screamed. Because it can't hurt me. Mom gave me lots of good things. I reached into my pocket and tossed a pile of props into my dad's hand as if they were trash. I encouraged my dad, go defeat the bad guys and take me home for dinner. As soon as the little spider died, Lily's face visibly paled. Seeing so many props, she completely lost her composure. You want to help the evil god who killed your father. How can you face your mother? Kevin interrupted her impatiently, his eyes filled with hatred. Using mind control on a child. If it weren't for you, Chandler wouldn't have gotten hurt. Let's deal with you first. Sigh, I sigh. Why does no one believe from start to finish that the father I found is my real father? They insist on saying that my father killed my father. Why can't the adults get it? It's so hard. My mother often tells me that I am a miracle. In this horror game, death is never in short supply. Players die, bosses die. Countless living souls and undead spirits intertwine and transform, making death the theme of this world. But I am different. I was born here. I am the only flower nurtured in this blood-soaked land, the only new life. Life always finds a way. This is my gift. It allowed me to be delivered from my mother, who was devoured by the boss and retained only a fragment of her consciousness, enabling me to grow up resiliently even without proper care. And to travel smoothly between different instances to find my father. I always find the right way out. It has always been this way. At first glance, I knew this enormous monster was my father. Like my mother, his soul is entangled with the boss, currently existing in a superposition of being both an anomaly and a living person. Although he has lost his memory, he is still my dad overall. As my mom puts it, it's a minor flaw. It doesn't affect much. I tried my best to explain all this to the foolish adults present. I had just finished speaking when the announcement of the rules sounded. Congratulations to player Lucy for clearing the hidden level. Level description: the newborn evil god has been tainted by the defiler, losing its past, present, and future. Human self-love and divine self-destruction vie for dominance here. Perhaps a lamp, a candle, a flower, or a tree, falling into this space, will tell it what self truly means. New boss evil god Chandler has been unlocked. Enter the boss gallery for details. All players, please take note. The QS High School dungeon is affected by uncontrollable factors and will undergo a server shutdown for updates. All players will be forcibly logged out. After the update, the dungeon difficulty will be raised to SSS, and the clearance rate will drop to 0.0001%. This update does not provide any compensation. If you have any issues with no place to complain, please handle it yourself. This special broadcast is over. It was a displeasure serving you. I'm overjoyed. I told you he's my dad. I told you I'm Chandler. I high-fived my dad. Yeah, the instance will close in 10 minutes. Lily looked at us, finally showing panic. She wanted to log off, but her shadow held her back. Dad sneered. Although I haven't remembered that I am Chandler's memory, isn't it rude to mess with someone else's corpse? At the same time, skills and items from Uncle Kevin and the others were all unleashed. Lily couldn't move and tried to persuade. He is the evil god. We players should unite to defeat him. Maybe we can get a special grade item. Kevin, I fight the evil god Chandler. I couldn't even beat him when he was human. Don't be ridiculous. Let's settle the score between us first. Lily holds the puppets hostage. We do have a grudge. But do you want to see my subordinates lose even their corpses? For example, your good captain, Chandler. Her father answered her. He reached out and tore his own corpse apart. It's dirty. I don't want it anymore. Kevin and the other players had no more concerns. The dead are gone. And letting their bodies be manipulated is a desecration. The scene gradually turned bloody. Finally, Lily used her last breath to throw herself in front of me. Child, she forced a smile. Save my life. And I'll teach you how to control men like dogs. Just like I do. You're a very clever little girl. You'll definitely be able to learn it. Look, this little spider is called a black widow. It's very cute, isn't it? The tiny spider struggled to crawl onto me. This is a really bad but very clever ant. I shook my head. I said to this ant who took the opposite stance the moment we met. My mom told me that in horror games, everyone wants to survive, and that's not wrong, but you can't prevent others from living just to save yourself. Most of the corpses she controls with her hands, like my father, were led to their deaths by her. If you climb up by devouring others, one day you will be devoured too. This is fair. Uncle Kevin's voice was cold. If you lose, admit it. I won't admit defeat. Dad covered my eyes at the right moment. Not suitable for children, sweetie. Uncle Kevin and the others glanced at my dad behind me with a complicated look before logging off. They were no longer from the same world. After the broadcast was completed, Dad was completely recognized by the rules as eerie. In the end, the uncles and aunts took out many precious props and took turns stuffing them into my hands. A gift for the child. May your family of 3 live well from now on. When you see Sister Luna in the future, say hello to her for me, from my narration. Everyone has more or less guessed that Mom's situation is similar to Dad's, perhaps even a bit worse. Uncle Kevin gave me that lens I was so curious about. He said to Dad, I want to apologize for having doubted you so easily. If I had trusted you enough, perhaps I could have discovered the truth earlier. I'm sorry. Dad did not respond. He hasn't regained his memory yet. From his perspective, Kevin is just a jerk who almost took his child away. Kevin didn't mind, anyway. Congratulations on not only surviving but also gaining an adorable child. If one day, you regain your memory and I'm still alive, if fate allows, remember to come visit me with Sister Luna and the little one. After you leave, I will take over as the next team leader. I will take care of the team members just like you did. Goodbye, Captain. Goodbye, Uncle Kevin, I said, grabbing my dad's hand and waving it at him. Dad didn't say anything. He doesn't remember. But he still feels sorrowful about this parting, as if he has experienced such moments many times in the past. The barrage also feels a bit melancholic. The bonds between people are inherently shallow. For most, every meeting is one less chance to meet again. Moreover, this is a horror game, where human life is as fleeting as a mayfly, born at dawn and gone by dusk. Being able to say goodbye is already a great fortune. The live stream is about to end too. Goodbye, little treasure. I looked at the goodbye emojis in the live stream and waved to the aunties in the chat. Goodbye, next time we meet on stream, we'll be in Mom's instance. I took my dad's hand and whispered, Dad, the game's updated now. I'll sneak you through. Let's go find Mom. Mom, Luna. Dad murmured the name softly, hesitating a little. But I don't remember her. Will she be angry? No, it's not like that. Just like how you liked me the moment you saw me, you'll like Mom too, before sending me here. Mom said she has her own battles to fight, so she wanted me to live with Dad for a while. She said she's not some princess waiting to be saved. She has the strength and the means, and she told me not to worry about anything, just to focus on growing up safely. But I'm Mom's baby. After all, I'm worried about her. Holding my father's hand, I followed the guidance in my heart and ran forward. Black and red patterns intertwined into a net, trying to block me, but I slipped through. No need to see. No need to hear. Endowment brings me back to my homeland, back to my mother's side. Pear Blossom Garden instance loading, wishing you a pleasant gaming experience. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.